What's up, peeps, and welcome to the first, I don't know what I'm calling this yet. It's just kind of some art tips, I guess, from me, peeps. You might have seen me on my gameplay channel before, or on Whatever Nerd. But, yeah, this was a request, actually, from a friend of mine who was having a little trouble figuring out the difference between saturation and value. So I'm just going to show you a little bit, what the difference is. Now, essentially, what you're going to do, or what you need to know, is that saturation is basically the amount of a color that is in something. So if you take this colored pencil and you rub it lightly on a piece of paper, see, you can even barely see that on the camera, that's a low saturation purple. Now if I take it and I rub it heavily, see, there's a lot more color in there of it. It's the same color, just one's more intense. Now, the other side of this is value. And value is the amount of color, or the amount of darkness or lightness added to it, black or white. So if you take this purple, which is the same as this one up here, and you shade it, or alter the color at all with a white colored pencil, see, you've changed the value by adding white to it, and thereby changed the color of the whole thing. And vice versa is true, of course, whenever you introduce black into it, although that's much more noticeable. Anyway, that was a bad example, but you get the general concept, I should hope. Yeah. Now, I'm not the best with colored pencils, so we're going to use one of my favorite forms of art, and we're going to use watercolors. This is my preferred method for doing things. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of this pure violet. Here, we'll clean this off real quick. Should have done this off camera. Yeah, get that nice and clean. Alright. Get all of that out of there. Yeah, get that out of here. Awesome. So, we're going to take this pure violet. And notice that I got a heavy amount on there. So now what I'm going to do is, see, that's a very dark purple. Very intense. That's a heavily saturated purple. Now, what I'm going to do is, once again, clean this. Sorry for the autofocus. Honestly, this is a very, very poorly rigged setup here. I have my webcam taped to my, or rubber banded to my microphone stand. So now what I'm going to do is, now that I have that more clean, I'm going to pick up just a little amount of color. And see, that's a less saturated purple. Now I changed the color of it without actually using any different colors. Now, the difference is that if you decide to change the value of it, you're going to still use the same purple you've been using. You're going to pick up some of that. But you can also pick up some black from down here, and it will change the color drastically. See, that's almost completely black with a little purple tinge to it. See, and that's how you can get some of those deep values, deep colors. And of course, the inverse is true, wherein if you pick up purple and you get some white with it, you're going to be lightening things up. See, that's lighter than the default value up there. Get a little more white, make it a little more noticeable. See? And one thing with watercolors is, as in with a lot of things, so you can go over it. That's the beauty of watercolors, is that you can mix and change things. There's a certain permanence to it, because once you get the color on the page, it's very hard to get rid of it. But you can change it, and you can make it whatever you need it to be. Barring, huge disasters. So now, give me just a moment. I'm going to get this cleared back up, and I will switch over to my tablet, and I will show you another example using... Man, I haven't used watercolors in a while. Using my tablet. So, we will be back in a flash. Alrighty, peeps. So now we've got Sci open, which is my painting app of choice. We're just going to create a new file, and this... Let's see, yeah, there we go. This is just to give you a rough estimate of exactly how to, if you're a digital artist, this will show you, so essentially what you have here is you have your color sliders. So you've got, this is your field, this is, let's see if it pops back, saturation and value selector. This picks your hue, this picks your saturation and value. So, you know, if I'm painting, let's see, I'll switch over to my watercolor brush. If I'm going to be painting, you know, I want, whoa, that's a huge brush. You know, something like that, you know. That's a good medium purple. So, here, in fact, I'll get it a little bit bigger so you can see more detail. There we go. Yeah. So, that's a good medium purple. But if I need a lighter color, then I'm going to increase the value, thereby adding white to it. Okay? So, now all of a sudden, it's a much lighter purple because the value is higher. And vice versa, if I want a darker color, I'm going to lower the value. And that puts it closer to black. And the beauty with digital art is that it's very experimental. You can do whatever you like with it. But you can also, with this, once again, if you go in this and you can alter the saturation, which this basically, if you lower the saturation all the way, that's straight gray. And that's essentially none of the hue added in. But if you go all the way up, all of a sudden, boom, it's a very, very intense. So this is honestly a lot of the monochromatic drawings that I do. I will pick a color that I like, such as, let's see, we'll go with my character Franklin, and I'll do just a quick little doodle of him in pen. So we're going to take Franklin's color, which his base color is purple. So I'm going to go, he's kind of a light purple. So I'll put it up here. That's going to be a skin tone. I will create a new layer. And then I will go dark for his outline. And once again, this is just going to be a quick job. So we'll just give him some hair. It's going to be tough to resist the siren call of the undo button. But yeah. This is generally what Franklin looks like. He has a coif of hair. Give him he's got a bow tie. So yeah, that's a very crude drawing, but that illustrates my point. So now we're going to go to the layer underneath him, and we will switch to, we'll go back to my watercolors. And we will take the value, we will heighten it to raise his color, but he's not really that bright of a purple, honestly. So we're going to lower the saturation to make it a little lighter. And presto changeo, all of a sudden, Frankie has got some color to him. And obviously, you know, this is a very quick job. I would put more detail into this if this were an actual drawing that I had worked on. But honestly, for, 15 seconds inside, that's not too bad. And this is very important on the internet. You always want to sign your work. And so there you go. That's a quick explanation on the difference between saturation and value. If you liked this and if you learned anything at all, please leave me a like or a comment. And I will catch you next time, peeps. Hey Hey peeps, if there's a subject you'd like to hear me talk about or demonstrate, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at PJ Randall or leave a comment in the section below. If you like this, please leave me a like. And once again, thanks for watching, peeps.